Michael Crosby for POTUS 2024. I'm addressing various concepts. I want to talk more about the new home building. I want to talk about Habitat for Humanity. But I want to mention first that we have a guy out there by the name of Dr. James Boyd, Jr. And basically, he is trying to stop discrimination and get compensation for black farmers. This is a long history of situations that involve people who have been discriminated against, and it's far deeper than that. We're talking about a lot of people that had their land stolen from them, and the plan that I have to be able to deal with new homes, to deal with stopping permanently any form of discrimination ever against anybody, deals with backing everyone's labor. Your labor becomes 100% back. That's the generalized home program I've talked about before. Now, we need to expand on this. We need to deal with some of these other past historical problems. And that means that a lot of these people need to understand that this program also immediately encompasses anyone who's been having problems. So we're talking about a wide category of people being able to get new home construction. So this means that you can get a part-time job giving it to yourself. You're a farmer, you're bogged down, you don't have that much time. You can do some of the work. You can sub out some of the work. Maybe you have family members sub of the work. Also, we have the new family understanding, ability to do a breakdown and have families with land decide to say, well, we have some land and we want part of it to end up being handed down to some of our children. And we would like to be able to start getting some of this underway ahead of time. So family resource situations need to be addressed. This basically means that we have to consider that in 1750, that the average 12 to 14-year-old had basic carpentry skills. You basically, this is, people back then, you would build a house in 2 to 6 months. It's the equivalent in board feet, roughly, of a 2-bedroom house today. Now, this means that basically our modernization, I went through this talk with a lot of people to explain why it gets parlayed, the technology improved. 45 years of work today represents 480 houses. So in my book, there's no reason to have any form of discrimination anywhere for anybody. Your labor is 100% bankable. And I believe also that we have to be able to prepare and have options available for people who have family members. That means that if people have family members and they say, hey, look, we want to work a deal, we want to break off part of this land, maybe it's encumbered somehow, this is going to need assistance to be able to say we want to be able to break off some of this land. And we've got some kids. We've got a 16-year-old here that we want to help them build a home today. This means that they can get some of their work building a home immediately. So basically, if we look at this, I think we need to consider at what ages might be realistic. I mean, then again, remember, 1750 longevity was 38 years of age. Now it's 78. And everybody wants kids to be kids. You want them to go through this K through 12, 13 years of schooling, and supposedly be able to, enjoy a little bit of their childhood along the way, not be taking advantage of. So we have to sit down with that, and we have to look at that. And then we also have to understand what is the future for your kids. So I've talked about modifying education. I got a lot of stuff on modifying education, but a lot of it was done on larger scale models. When we're talking about rural situations, when we're talking about different states, we're talking about completely different scales of situations. So whether we're talking about an organization trying to restore land that's been stolen, and whether you're black or you're Native American or whatever, or whether you're Habitat for Humanity, or you're some other program that's trying to deal with, look at this other program and the supplement, and there can be a lot of stuff out there. Quite frankly, if you look at a lot of the stuff, maybe it's going to make some people cry. but we need to look at the ability to be able to expand options for nonprofits, to be able to assist people with the new design, non-discrimination, new hard construction guarantee plan. This means completion guarantee bond associated in this. This means adjustable loans, graduated payment loans, and again, the family addressing of what are these issues going to be? Because, you know, I'll tell you, there's places I've been in America where they had children 12 years old, and I'm not kidding you, and they were starting their homing plans, as in breaking ground. I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. You know, so this can be real. We need to figure this out. We need to help figure out how to deal with encumbered situations for new restructuring, because some families want to stay together. Now, maybe the families want to work on a new plan, a new investment, a new location. Again, all of this needs to be available to be able to be put on the table and say, we need to be able to move high speed with loan guarantourism to get people moving forward. I mean, you know, my grandparents used to tell me, idle time is your enemy. And there's something to be said about that. There really is. You know, now, granted, a lot of people want to be artists or whatever. If you want to live on the beach and you want to be an artist, that's your business. Whatever you want to do, this is America. But some of us would like to work hard. We'd like to work for ourselves, at least part-time. And there's no reason why you can't work for yourself part-time and build your own assets. And, you know, so I've got a lot of items here that I want to deal with. I've mentioned about fMRI lie detector options for different things. One of them is people got hurt. You have statements from people that are getting old and you need to record them. But if you record them with an fMRI, a little bit of this business where people are calling them a liar or a he said, she said, and then somebody else says, well, they're getting old. You know, they fade in and out. And it says, well, that's interesting. I think we can still salvage legitimate fragments out of these statements because something happened here. Something happened here. We have a witness. And fMRI can help make their statements more definitive. Not to mention they can get a really good scan out of it, a really good medical scan. You know, gee, that's going to hurt your health, right? So, no, I mean, yes. So basically, there's a lot we can do here. And the technology for fMRI technology is getting cheaper. This is going to get cheaper. It's going to get smaller. There's going to be new facets of it. So when you're just talking about an interface system for some computer interface stuff, if you're just talking about specialized type of scans or lie detection, you can come up with a lot of different new options. There's a lot of companies out there working with new types of interface systems, and all of these have approaches that are not only not only unique, but these programs have beneficial aspects, forward moving. So all of these can relate in helping people with their legal problems. And all of this can still also, at some point, deal with some of the emotional stress that many people have had. And I believe that we need to have a new communication coming together with people who believe that we can communicate, believe and say, gee, what's wrong with us getting together, sharing time, even if that's only done on a Zoom, even if that's only done through video sharing. You know, there's a lot of ways that different things can happen, and we can address more about educational options, creative educational options. I got a whole plan I've laid out on the modeling. Basically, LA's got so much money in it, it's mind-boggling. I can walk right up to LA, get some teams together, and in several months put a mind-boggling plan together that would blow people away. And we're talking about 13 years of schooling, kid gets out, 18 years of age, $1.2 to $1.5 million in their bank account from the work that they did, plus they got some pay all along the way. And now they qualify. They're bankable. They're bankable at their labor basically being $200,000 a year. Why? Because they're qualified to be mini contractors. They can build homes for themselves. They're good at it. So understanding how to return carpentry and bankability to every child in this country, regardless of where you live, is something, in my view, that we have to do. There's nothing wrong with restoring the contract and going back to original colonialism and then saying, we're going to have our cake and eat it too. We're going to put in the newest modifications, the newest upgrades, and we can do this because it's all about making hard assets. Now, when we got people that are dealing with perishable assets and businesses, everybody's got these excuses for this is a problem. Well, look, we need the food. We need the food. We have to make this work. We're going to have to sit down with this. We're going to have to make this work. And the people who know the most about a lot of these areas are the people who have been doing it. It's hard to get better advice than if somebody's going to tell you something about something, then people have been doing it for 40 or 60 years, and they've got hundreds and hundreds of years of collective knowledge from their parents and grandparents. They're going to have a lot to say about how to do certain things, and that means that we need to figure out ways to integrate whatever we can do. But number one deal is hard asset growth, guarantee labor, guarantee new projects, guarantee how to make existing projects perhaps creatively change. There's the family aspect, where we can deal with various types of understanding for, you got whatever, hundreds of acres or whatever it is, and you want your kids to have a piece, and you want to change the aspect of what is encumbered and restructure things around. We can do this. So with that, I'm going to basically say that this is kind of the update to bring in. You can go back, you can look at my other material. It's out there. Also, there's a lot of other people that got material out there about how to do these different things. And as time moves on and more AIs get in line, and as people basically, pay me back that are responsible for massive archival losses, that's a serious situation. Some people get upset. Please understand and listen to all the information first before you run off half-cocked and say, this is horrible. You have to understand what the evidence is and what certain people did. You have to understand that there's a slow release disclosure period on some of this material because there's a shielding factor. There's all these other complicated factors. We don't want people to say that we're doxing them. We don't want people to say that we're focusing decentralized hate at them. But we're definitely doing something about saying, hey, look, there's a reality here and it has to be addressed. And these other people want to keep basically ignoring it. And we can't ignore stuff anymore in our society because we now live in a world where everything and everyone is recorded pretty much in full 3D. So, we have to understand all of this information and everything is recorded, and it's a forever thing. Civil rights has no statute of limitations. Neither does treason in a lot of other aspect areas. Neither does attacks against an archive. And people really have to understand that we have people out there that committed some hellacious crimes by various forms of intentional negligence. And, the thing is, the law is the law, the Constitution's the Constitution, and when people are responsible, when they're responsible for the destruction of archives, artifacts, items pertaining to national security, the process of elections, these items have very serious penalties. Some of them have death penalty. So please take your time, go through the material, try to understand what I'm trying to get put out the door and why there are certain limitations, but what the overall plan is. A lot of people can't look at it. I've got I believe over 13,000 posts. A lot of those are connected to disclosure involving code writing, blockchain, how this stuff can work, how to do autonomous systems, how to reduce structure, how to eliminate 90% of banking as we know it into a new system, yet verifiable, how to bring in drones, verifiable drones, how to use all sorts of, oracles. We call them oracles. That's the human in the loop plan piece that can be done remotely. So with that, I'm going to leave it off, and I think we've covered a little bit there. And I just don't want too many people to get too upset about some of this stuff, because if they come in the middle of stuff, they may not understand what's going on. You need to understand there are people who attacked archives. There are people who are facing death penalty charges. This is not a game, and it's not funny when people are going, but you're attacking our popular candidate or this or that. Well, hey, look, these people are cross-involved, and this is not a game. This is not a game, and the evidence is never going to go away, and we're not interested in listening to anybody stand up and talk about their BS. Okay, we're talking hard evidence. This is not a grandstander item. We're talking hard evidence. So it's important that in the course, I'm saying, yeah, I'm a candidate. I'm running for office. I've got the biggest AI plan I've been working on for decades to be able to restabilize people's lives, to stop all discrimination on a scale that's mind-boggling. A lot of people can talk about a little bit forward here and there. No. All the way. Boom. This is it, the big one, all the way. It's mass AI installation, mass services, mass production restored, mass guarantee loanism. It's here. It's the big dream being delivered here and now. You need to believe. You need to believe, and you have to be able to say, hey, yeah, I'm willing. Let's talk about it. Let's do this, because the dream has arrived. And that is what I'm demanding to install. Thank you very much. My name is Michael Crosby. I'm running for POTUS 2024.